Hello, hello. I'm here again talking to you guys. Gonna have another discussion with Jake Whitehorse today, so he should be joining me here pretty quickly. Go ahead and invite him. What's up, yo? What's up, Wood? How you doing, brother?
My fault.
Yo, what's
Hello.
up? What's
What's
up,
up?
man? How's
What's
it
up?
going?
Good. It's getting set up here and everything.
Thanks for coming on with me today,
Hey
man.
man, I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me, bro. I really
No
appreciate
problem.
it.
How you doing today?
Uh One of those days. Sunday, man. Sunday.
Yeah, I'm chilling. Today's my Monday. Today's the first day of my week, so
Oh yeah, I feel that. I feel that.
yeah. So, all
Um
right, let's start it off. Let's start it off with so your name's Jake Whitehorse, and tell people where you're from.
uh so I'll kind of introduce myself. Hachu Michu, Jacob Whitehorse, Yanantinu Tichu, Yakahini. Hello, my name is Jacob Whitehorse, and I'm a member of the Northern Chumash tribe. We are not federally recognized. I know there's another Northern Chumash tribe, so that's where we kind of battle. And then I'm enrolled in Sakonji Lakota. So,
Okay, and then where is the Chumash tribe are like located? I know is there a reservation or?
so we're actually in the legal process of getting our land back. So Chevron actually took our land
Okay.
down there. Do you know where Pismo Beach is?
Yeah, down
Yeah,
like
so
L.A. and
like
stuff. Yeah.
basically around that bend is Avila Beach, and that's where we kind of traditionally like our people were always there and everything. So
Yeah.
we're in a legal battle with Chevron for getting our land back, and we're kind of in the process of that. And then there's another part. I think it's PG&E. We're going to legal battle too to receive our land back there too. So
Hell yeah. And then you're enrolled in another tribe. You said where's that at?
it's in Rosebud, South Dakota.
Oh,
So
okay. Hell yeah.
so my father's Lakota and my mother's half Chumash. So
Okay. Hell yeah. And then did you grow up in because you're living in Santa Rosa, right?
yeah, Rona Park.
Okay. So did you grow up there or no?
I grew up here. I've only been to my reservation in South Dakota twice. One was for ceremony, and one when I was just passing through. My dad didn't want us really growing up there. He's kind of a progressive Native American, I think you'd call it. So he wanted to leave the reservation and come out here and just kind of get off the scene and everything. So we moved
Yeah.
here and everything.
My mom was the opposite. We went from living in Santa Rosa to move to Point Reno on the res. So
Oh
we did kind of the opposite of what you did.
yeah. Well, my mom did that too. She was in the city, and then now she lives on the res and everything.
It's funny. And then I saw that's in Arizona, right?
New Mexico.
New
So it's about
Mexico. Okay.
it's Jemez Pueblo. My stepdad, they got married 6 years ago now, and she moved out there because they're both kind of artists and everything. So they have their own studio out there. So it's a really nice setup and everything. It's cool out there. So.
Hell yeah, that's dope, man. And then you're a hooper too. Do you play in a lot of like native tourneys and stuff?
So I actually just started getting in the whole like native hooping scene because like
Yeah,
out here, we don't have that scene as big out here.
yeah,
Like I'd even like Nabi and all those big tournaments. I've actually
yeah.
did not even hear of most of those until like my later year of high school, so senior year when I moved out to New Mexico. So like I've never been around that scene of like res ball
Yeah.
out here until there's that one a all Native American AU team, the Santa Rosa Hawks. I think the guy that
Yeah,
runs it.
yeah.
Yeah,
I got a couple homies that his kids played on that team. Yeah.
yeah. So Elliot's cousin Sebastian. So that's how me and Elliot we all hooped on that. So it's kind of like just a bunch of Pomo kids and really me and we a couple Miwok kids and we all jumped on and made this AU team. Just kind of traveled around the Bay Area. So that was like kind of my first introduction of like the native hoop scene, I guess you could say. So that was kind of like my introduction to it until I moved out to the reservation my senior year. So
Hell yeah. Yeah, back in the day, I used to go to a bunch of at Alcee Allen. There used to be a giant tourney
oh
there
yeah,
every year.
we used to be a vendor there. My mom, yeah, my mother and made us sit out there and do our betting game. We were too young to play, but yeah, I definitely remember that tournament.
Yeah, that tourney was always the one to go to for sure.
Definitely,
They always had
definitely.
the dope prizes, the dope jerseys, the dope
Yeah,
DJ. They always had DJ playing and
yeah.
stuff.
It
Yeah,
was cool. Definitely a cool scene. Definitely a cool scene. Missed
and they
out on
had two gyms going, so that was always dope. You know what I mean?
exactly. See, we don't really
Okay.
have much other like out like every like other like state. I guess you could say they have almost like a tourney trail with like Native
Yeah.
American tourneys in it, but like we don't have that scene here. So like
Oh yeah,
that's a little different. Like there's that one in we got somebody saying the LC tournament is lit.
yeah. I saw that. I saw that. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So yeah, definitely a different scene because you could hit the trail and there's almost a tourney every weekend, every other like state. So it's different out here. So.
Yeah, that's tight, man. I kind of that kind of one leads me into. I know we talked about going into one question, but it kind of leads me into this question actually, and that is, how do you feel about Native American mascots being used?
Oh, definitely against it.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm all about that. Change
yeah,
that. Yeah,
definitely okay, yeah, definitely.
yeah,
Definitely against it. I just think the representation for our youth is definitely can be degrading. Definitely have always hearing about how the um, like the Redskins, I feel like was one a really demoralizing one, just like because there's this prominent image, and I feel like there's other ones like Warriors and Savages, and it's always tends to be like our mascot on those ones. So I just feel like yes, we are Warriors and everything, but we're a lot of other things. We're lawyers,
yeah,
we're doctors, we're healers, and everything. So like I feel like there's a huge perspective on it and you soak in when you're youth, especially native youth, we're so prone to step away from Western society teaching, and we always learn through oral teaching, so constantly gaining information through our elders and what we see in life. So I feel like having that learning system, and we see this and it's now getting programmed into us, and like the way of our teachings of like always being put onto us, I feel like it's just really degrading for youth. You kind of just grow up like that, and it's kind of almost like a norm. I see with this generation, it's definitely not the norm. A lot of going against it, like your shirt, for example.
yeah, yeah.
I know it's a fight for like we've been doing since the Redskins forever, but I feel like we this generation did so much. Like they did change it, so I feel like this generation is definitely putting their foot down on how we want to be represented as Native Americans in through this Western society of lens and everything. So.
Absolutely, man. And like you touched on it, this generation kind of like it's definitely more awake to things and like down to, like you said, put their foot down and like get shit changed and start to change stuff, and that's cool because like back when these names got started, it was like making fun of the this culture or the Native American people. It wasn't like to represent them at all. It
Yes,
was completely like make fun of these people, make them not real, essentially.
exactly. And then it's
Um,
it's it's one thing to try to promote the Native community, but when you're just using the Native community to benefit off it, I just feel like that's more of an because like what all these mascots and everything, like what are these organizations doing for us? Like
Absolutely
are they
nothing.
raising awareness? Are they just using it to gain money off of really?
Yeah,
So
yeah, and there's zero tribes get like you said, there's zero tribes getting like any access to any of the money to anything that like these teams are like getting. They have
yeah.
no money, nobody's getting hired, no reservations are even
Well, you
getting.
can like it'd be like let's step away from the money point and everything. Like you could raise awareness. You could
Yeah, yeah,
promote,
exactly.
or you could promote like better things to come out of that. But just to usually solely use it, and now you got fans coming in like with war paint and everything. Just this whole like culture appropriation at like a sporting event like that other people attend. Like, can you imagine like going to a Niners game as a kid and if they like let's say they play the Redskins and everything. Like, can you imagine how degrading that'd be walking in like seeing everybody with like your I don't know if you guys were headdressed, but like traditional regalia and everything like that would
Yeah,
be
yeah, absolutely.
that'd be so like degrading. I feel like personally, and it's just like now
If
that
it,
everybody has access to this and kind of can appropriate it, I feel like that was like a big cause of it during it. So
yeah, if somebody walked in with a flicker, because that's what they wear up in Point is like a flicker bird across the
yeah,
face, that'd be like super upsetting. I'd be
exactly.
super fucking pissed off. but yeah, you touched on this a little bit, that natives are doctors, healers, and teachers. But also like how we wanted to talk about how do you feel about like Native Americans getting involved in politics and being politicians?
So me, uh, it's kind of goes both ways for me. I love the representation. Do not get me wrong, and I love that. I love that more people are getting into more politics, tribal law, going into law and everything. Like my younger sister is someone I look up to because she's actually really into that, and using her platform and everything to actually benefit back into her community and everything. So I feel like that's like a big step of representation within this political world. But for me, I feel like yes, the representation is good in like allowing us to have these voices where typically it's not heard in these rooms, like like the White House, the Senate, and everything. Like Deb Haaland is now putting our voices, and they're doing a better job of like voicing this and everything. So, and our sovereignty and all that. But I feel like we need to. It'd be better to um, not be in it and like let's say like dismantle it and everything. I'm really like big into decolonizing, so I think just the ownership of should be returned back to the original people of the land. But then that's kind of goes into more controversy with tribes and everything. But I feel
Yeah,
like it'd be a better starting point. But definitely being in these conversations is definitely solid, and I like the direction it's going to because with Deb Holland exactly getting into it. Think about all these youth that now are aspiring to be her, and being
yeah,
the one to be in the Senate and everything, and get into the House of Representatives and everything. So I feel like it's a great starting point where we're at now. Like I said, this is one of the wokest generations. In recent months, lately, it even got woker. Like, so I feel like definitely representation in these realms is good. Just because it needs to start maybe renegotiating treaty rights and getting some of that land back that we always try to preach and everything. So
yeah. I think I'm 50-50 too, man. Because I want to dismantle the system, but also like I think that could be a start in dismantling or just getting shit just straight changed. Because we can't just have these same like white people just going in with the same backgrounds and just creating the same laws, creating the same policies over and over again. We have to have different people in there to like create different policies so we can start changing, so we can start educating people on Native American issues. So that's where I stand. It's like it's tough. Like I don't want to
it's
dismantle it, but I want people to be educated, and I think that's the one way to start getting people educated.
see that I think at this point and so deep into colonization, I think the only way to dismantle it is beating it from the outside in.
Yeah,
I mean, the inside from rather than from outside and in.
yeah,
So
yeah,
being in there and getting more representation, I feel like that's probably going to be our best route. Because let's be real, the whole dismantle of the government is something that cannot really be there as far as in Western societies as we are in now. You definitely seen many attempts with occupations all over. Definitely feel like we should do more occupations, but that's a different topic right there. But
yeah.
yeah, definitely, I feel like being it from the inside out is where we got to start. So getting these people inside of these uh, areas in
Yeah,
politics is definitely where we should start and everything. So
and I think honestly, I think it'd be huge for natives to get into like the education system, and
exactly.
I think that'll be huge to start like just teaching a different style, a different, like you said, like verbal hand downs. Like not everything is in a book. You don't have to read everything in a book. Everything.
Yeah.
A different style because the way we do it now, it's just everything's so crunched and
Well,
so.
that would just be decolonizing our teaching methods,
Yeah,
really. Just
exactly,
getting back
exactly.
to
Yeah,
one of my elders always told me, getting back to our old ways. That's something I preach and is always in the back of my head. So learning how to decolonize your the way you learn, the way you teach and everything. Like we're so deep into Western society, we've stepped away of how we teach. Like I know this, I know Mike got some Lakota people in here, and I'm Lakota as well, but I don't think our language should be written. I don't think everybody should have this access. I think you should learn from your elders, like how we always been, like before
Yeah.
pre-contact thing. So I feel like getting back into that and learning through that way is definitely um, the way we should go. Because I know, like, since I've always like I travel everywhere and go to different reses and everything. Like the Pueblos is one of the most inspiring. They are the only tribe that speaks Toa, and it cannot be written. Yes, like it cannot be written, and they all.
That's sick.
But most of them know it, and they
Yeah.
teach it, and you learn from your elders. At the day school there, I think some days they go more than half the day with only speaking Toba. So getting
Wow.
back to that traditional ways and everything, like I can learn Lakota off an app, which honestly I don't feel comfortable. I won't. I want to learn from the elder and
Nah,
get
hell
that
no.
get that knowledge and everything, and get that oral teaching back kind of into it. So.
Are you fluent, or do you know like how like in
Oh,
Lakota, or
I don't know much of my language for Lakota at all. Few here words there. And then for my mother's tribe, our language is actually almost extinct. We have no fluent speakers within our small tribe. And so what we do is we were working with the UC Berkeley linguistic program, and we go to the Breath of Life conference. I'm not sure if you heard of it, but
no, no.
they help many California tribes rebuild language. It's like a revitalization program.
Uh-huh.
So my mom has been taking me to these for years, and I go with my cousin and everything, and our family's kind of there, and we work with these people to rebuild our language and kind of get back that knowledge and everything, which is really dope. Like shout out to UC Berkeley and the linguistic program for doing this, because it's a broken language. Like I said, we have no speakers, so it's kind of like really demoralizing that colonization got so far to the point where we don't even have speakers anymore. But I know that's on some of the youth for not getting that knowledge while our elders were here. But with the whole California tribes faced three different, I would say, colonizations out here. One being like the mission occupation with the Spain and Catholicism and all that. So that was the first wave, and then the gold rush, and then finally the rest of Western expansion. So just all through that and everything, and being in all these rancherias and everything, it's kind of we lost a lot of speakers to that. So
That's a lot of genocide, man, over the
it's,
years, and that kind of leads me into a next question. Is there anything like spiritual that you practice, or anything like that of from your Lakota tribe or your mom's tribe? I know you just said the language is pretty much extinct, but is there
so
anything else?
I'll talk about my Lakota side first. So growing up, I'm not trying to bash on my father here, but he's very pan indigenous, kind of just powwow, and which is cool. I love the powwow scene and everything, but it's just kind of that pan indigenous kind of mindset where it's just powwow and different. I don't know. It's just like I thought I was really traditional growing up.
Uh,
I thought I was. I was nothing close. All I did was powwow, and I didn't speak my language and everything. I went to a Sundance and everything. Like I even have the red shirt, Sundance tee and everything. Shout out my Pine Ridges on here and everything.
hell
But
yeah.
yeah, so we went to that, and I always thought I was in tune with it. But through my journey as a tribal college, I learned that I'm not at all. But with my mom's tribe, my mom was really she was really hard on us of being traditional for our Chuma side and everything. So we don't powwow. We have our traditional dances that we still do. So, and then we actually had wax recordings. It's some of our last languages recorded, and it has some of our like traditional songs from I think 2 generations ago, maybe 3, of just all our recordings and everything. So we go back in that, and that was kind of like my first step into like my spiritual cultural identity and learning that. And so I kind of stepped away from my Lakota side, and I had to balance this. I would like to say 3 worlds, because I'm 2 tribes, and I live in Western society, and I'm a white passing Native American, so I kind of live within 3 worlds. So I had to learn how to balance these one worlds. So I just stepped away from one and decided to learn a lot. So my mother being really influenced, and being a traditional artist and everything, it was kind of something I was always around. And then we, like, our cousins and aunts got more into it with these wax recordings. We'd always like meet and like kind of like practice these songs and get back to that traditional ways, like the old ways I've always preached about. So getting back into that kind of method and everything, I was just always around it. And then now my mom's taking us to the big time. We're going to big times. We're vending at culture days for the other Chumash tribe, our neighboring Chumash tribe. So I was just definitely around it more. And then my mom even made me start to sing with her. So we had like, singing and clap sticks and
That's
everything.
tight, dude.
And then my mom being, one second. Okay, thought I had to sneeze.
You're good.
And then, where were we? Sorry.
Your mom teach you how
Oh
to
yeah,
sing.
she's a weaver. She makes clap sticks and everything. So he's kind of just always into that cultural aspect. So that's where my kind of cultural journey started. And then as I got into when I moved on to the res, and then when I went to college, that's when my awakening kind of started.
Hell yeah, man. That's sick. That's a really cool journey. You got two different tribes to learn from. That's crazy. And you said you learned more from your mom's, and it seems like she's more in tune with like the spiritual aspect of it and stuff.
Yeah,
You know what I
definitely.
mean? Yeah,
Definitely.
and that's really cool. And my mom weaves baskets as well. But that's like the closest thing she does to anything like of the culture.
Mm-hmm.
She's Christians to this day.
Oh
But,
yeah, definitely.
but I mean, like I don't knock her for it. I realized I got to stop talking to her about it and just let her be.
Yeah, just make
And she used to let me dance back in the day a little bit, but I can tell, she didn't want me to, but I wanted to really bad. So like she allowed me to,
Yeah.
which I thought was really fun, and I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
Because it felt good to dance and get out there in the dirt and let my feet hit the rocks. You know what I mean?
I know this might step a little boundaries for other promos, but everything. But I don't know if you know Joe Salinas.
No.
Okay, so I forgot. This is terrible. I forgot what ranch we were there from, but they're promo, and they dance a lot. And they needed a dancer, and I was close with this son and everything, so they just called me up and threw some flickers on me, and next thing you know, I'm at a big time dancing, and it's just kind of that welcoming. Like I know you're not Native American, but I bet you felt that same welcoming of
Absolutely,
people
man.
and everything, and
Always.
how welcoming they are. Like I know we're on their land, and this is their traditional and sacred land. So having that identity is pretty cool to have around here.
Yeah, man, it feels good. Like you said, so welcoming and so loving. Once you're in the family, you're in the family. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, you're not leaving that family.
Exactly.
All right, so that leads me to another question. Oh wait, actually, no, that was actually all my questions that I had for you. And usually this last part I do like a little freestyle. If you have any questions for me, if you want to spread some more knowledge that you have, just like whatever you want to do, just freestyle it. Yeah.
Well, I'll ask you a question. I know you faced a lot of probably controversy growing up, not being Pomo, but living amongst the land and everything. How did that kind of affect you growing up?
So at first it was a little bit hard, just moving there and being like the new kid. And obviously my skin's a little bit darker than everybody else. So I definitely felt that end of it. But as I like proved myself a little bit more, people definitely started like making me feel at home, and like I was one. Like they started letting me Indian dance, and stuff like that, all kind of stuff. But I don't know how it affected me in the long term. It definitely made me tougher mentally and physically.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Definitely mentally, because I had to deal with a lot, people talking shit constantly, and like having to like taper back my temper and stuff. You know what I mean? That stuff like that was like it was like a talent I had to come. People talking shit constantly because I'm not from there or whatever, blah blah blah. But that's the thing with like me, like that's where I'm from. That's where I was raised from the first day I was born. And that's the only thing I didn't know. So like, I can't change that. And I can only tell my story, and like, you know what I mean? So yeah, it didn't affect me negatively because at a certain point, everyone started making me feel like, oh, like one, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
So it definitely feels amazing to say that I'm from a reservation. I am from a Native American family. And like I did one of those 23andMe tests, you know,
Yeah.
and it says 24% Native American, but it doesn't say what tribe or anything. So I don't know how I feel about that, but I'm say I'm you know I say I'm Native, and like just because I feel it in my heart, I feel it in my soul, you
Yeah.
know, and I'm going to continue fighting for Native American voices, rights, and everything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
And yeah, I'm not going to stop. You know?
Yeah, no, I hear that. I just asked you that because like that's something I relate to. Like, you know, being a white passing native, I definitely like we said over the phone. You know,
Yeah.
I was too white for the res kids and too res for the white kids.
And
So
yeah,
I was always in this like constant battle of, you know, trying to walk into worlds and, you know, trying to almost prove that I was native. And, you know, through my college journey, I learned that um, what gives these guys a right to say I'm not native when I know more of my language, I know more of my ceremonies I practice, I know my old stories, I learned from my elders. So what gives me my right to not identify when I know my cultural and I know my knowledge more than you? Like, yes, I didn't grow up on a reservation. Like, I put this term out there. I was always grow up an urban Indian, I guess you could say. So being that white passing native, I was always never really had that true identity until I went to travel college and learned that I do obtain this right. And, you know, I just because I'm a white passing native, you know, does not strip me from my identity. I know I don't fit in the realms of what Western society has made us Native Americans to perceive, but I know what I stand and I know what I am. You know, I sing my songs, I pray in my language. I burn my traditional medicines, and you know, so I feel like that just gave me a right. But like I said, learning to walk in these three worlds has definitely been a journey. Something I'm comfortable in now, but definitely growing up, I know it affected me a lot. So.
absolutely, man. It's definitely something you're right. I also had to navigate through and kind of just figure out, you know, and I'm finally at 28, kind of finally starting to feel a little bit in my body and
Mhm.
in myself, you know. But yeah, and I'm glad you brought that back up because that was a good topic that I forgot to bring back up actually.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and then being a white passing native, like for me, I just wanted. I know being a white passing native, I obtained privilege. I obtained white privilege, so I want to use that white privilege to benefit Native voices and put these Native voices in rooms that they're not allowed in. So using that privilege to get into higher institutions, getting, you know, a better job and everything, just because I have that white privilege in this. So using that to benefit the Native American community, I feel like more white passing natives should do. Definitely should be on us to step up and really use that privilege more for that. So that's definitely something I'm trying to do. I've seen it work numerous times. I speak at a lot of events and definitely use this platform, my platform that I have to speak about topics and issues that I faced and my tribal people face and definitely get that voice out there. So.
and that's something this colonized mindset has kind of like put pinned everyone against each other. Like you're a light skinned native, you're less than, or you're darker than, you're less than as well, or you fit into this box, that so you're this Native American, or you have this amount of blood in you, so this is you're this type of Native American, or you have a roll number, so you're Native American. You know,
Yeah.
that kind of is what like the government has kind of was able to just like control these tribes and control the population so it can't get bigger and continue being who they are.
Exactly. See, I
So
kind of faced some of that controversy you did when I moved. So my mother met my stepdad, moved out there, and she decided she wanted me to move out there as well and attend my last year of high school out there. So I went from, you know, going to a school with a couple thousand kids and, you know, in like I'd say like a suburban neighborhood and everything, like living in this community, definitely like more of a city vibe type of everything, you know, being close to like San Francisco and everything, having
uh,
that city vibe. And then going straight to the reservation, an hour out of town, dirt roads, res dogs chasing. It was like a complete culture shock. I'd never lived on the reservation. Go to my tribal school and it's 3 portables on going up on a dirt road. Yes, and you got res dogs following you, chasing you into class and everything. And it's like I went from the school from like a couple thousand people, like all diverse and everything, to one Pacific tribes school, and it was definitely hard. There was only one other white kid at the school, like so like being like that white passing and everything, it was definitely hard to adjust. And since they were all from that one tribe, I was kind of like that outsider, and definitely looked at different, which is
Yeah.
it was hard to deal with at first, but then as I earned my stripes on the res, definitely got more comfortable and everything. But yeah, it was hard at first, just being in that realm and everything. It was because it's not my people. It'd be different if I went to my reservation, but I was just like completely, like, I'd say almost adopted into this tribe and everything. So like it's kind of
And where was this?
in Jemez, New Mexico. That's where my mom's
Okay.
from now. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what you said. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's
So
cool, man. And did you go? You said your senior year you went there.
yeah.
Okay.
And that's where I learned, like, wow, like teaching's so different from like that was my first tribal school experience and everything. So I thought like being like at a big school and you don't get much attention, where you got 30 people to the class, it was a lot harder. But I learned, like, at the tribal college, they really do care for you. Like, they wouldn't even let you graduate unless you got accepted into like 2 colleges. So like, yeah, they're pushing,
wow.
or a trade school, and they're pushing you to do it and everything. So it was really cool, and how supportive they were and everything on that. Like, I don't even think I would have went to college if I went out there. Like, I wasn't this system out here. I don't know if you know much of the Roanoke Park schooling system. Definitely not the one that benefits our people.
Yeah.
I would say, trust me, my mom has multiple run-ins with this school, to the point where she was like, got tired of it, and every year she would come into our class and teach like the correct way, and like have like she would come in our classroom and teach and show us that like Native Americans are real and we're real people here and everything. So it's kind of like she always pushed that. She hates the schooling system out here and everything, so she's like, just moved me out there, and it definitely benefited me a lot. Like I said, I don't think I would have been in college or even thought of trade school if I didn't go out there. So it definitely helped and pushed me to graduate. So that was cool.
And that's what we need. We need more schools like that. Is actually like encouraging kids to like want to go to school or a trade school, like you said, because trade school is super super good for people to get in. The jobs are
Just
good.
as good. I feel like we should push that more, because we constantly push our kids to education and go get your education, but we have nothing they can return back to. So
Exactly.
how are you going to push these kids to go to college and not have them in an environment to return back to benefit their native community? So you can do that with trades. You can build off the land, like you can build everything and make your community better off trade work, rather than just trying to do it from a Western society kind of aspect. So.
Super facts, dude. Super facts. That's super true, man. If you go to school, you can come back, and a trade school, you can come back and start building from the ground up.
Exactly.
your tribe.
Exactly.
Absolutely, man. Hell yeah. And that's about. Do you have any more questions or anything for me?
How do you feel about blood quantum? You just got into it, so let's spill it out. How do you feel about it?
I don't really know anything about it. I just know that,
you
like,
think tribes would still have it?
I don't know, man. I don't think so, because that's just like another way for the government to control who is and who isn't in the tribe, And I don't think I'm not 100% sure if Pointerina does it. And I don't think so. I'm not. I was told a couple weeks ago that they don't. So I don't know how they do it, but I don't think so, man. Because that's just another way the government can control who's in and who's not.
I think the only other things that have to do it are horses and dogs have to prove their blood.
Yeah, exactly.
So this definitely doesn't make sense. Yeah, I'm not one for blood quantum as well, but it is what it is.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's. I have to do some more research on that, but like, I'm not down with it. It's not something that I think should be a thing. Yeah, it's another government, man, trying to control again and again.
Exactly.
All right, yeah, man, that's about it. That was a super good conversation, man. Thank you for coming in and educating me and educating other people, man, because you definitely educated me on some stuff about Lakota. Oh, one question I did have: do you know anything about any pipelines out there or anything like?
I know one got shut I could be wrong, and I'm sorry. I know I should be doing. I was an environmental major. I changed that though, more into yeah. I was a Native American environmental major. I loved it. My favorite thing. Did one internship and had to write a ton of reports. I was like, maybe this is not for me. But it was definitely a great opportunity. I worked with UC Davis Marine Laboratory, and I was one of the first Native Americans to internship there, and it's a paid internship too, so it was definitely helpful. And we worked in their laboratory in Bodega Bay, and we were doing how to protect abalone. They wanted a Native American kind of aspect, and my mother being such an artist, she uses abalone for her traditional jewelry and everything. And it's kind of how we ate, how she made, brought food on the table and everything. So when she didn't have access to these materials and everything that were going extinct out here, it affected us a lot. It definitely affected us a lot. So it's just like, now my mother doesn't have this access. So I was like, what am I to do if I just sit here and just talk about it? So I wanted to put myself out there and, do research and everything. We even had purple sea urchin removals to try to help the abalone help and everything. So they definitely had it was a dope aspect, and just them having like it was kind of sad that they did say it, but I'm glad they did. They were, when we were in a meeting and everything, I'd mentioned that Native American and how this affects us and everything, and they said, wow, we didn't even think about asking you guys. And it's just like, you have all these rancherias across from the whole coast, you guys didn't think about.
Yeah.
Think about like, if we were to go back to like our traditional farmings, like pre-contact, like none of this had, like, we were doing this like without pesticides and other chemicals. Like, our traditional farming methods are some of the healthiest. And I felt like just trying to get that back into that, like, more aqua culture and everything, getting more of that back into Western society, I think would definitely help, like, all these causes of climate change and everything. So just getting back to like our traditional methods, I definitely feel like would help us. But like I said, like, they even said it, they even think about this is voices that aren't heard. When we were out there doing a purple sea urchin removal, the New York Times was even there, interviewed us and talked about, even then I mentioned them how I was Native American and how this affected me. They said, wow, like they had no idea that this was affecting us. And they kind of interviewed me, and like, they're like, oh yeah, we're going to put it out there and everything, and just never heard of it. So it's just like the lack of representation everywhere. It's just like that. So yeah. The constant battle and everything. But yeah, exactly. It was a dope experience, and I'm glad I got to do it. So shout out to UC Davis for that. That was cool.
That's cool, man. That's the second time you mentioned UC Berkeley doing something super cool like that for the Native American community. And if we get more schools doing that, you know what I mean, we can get some more, voices heard, some more culture, some more.
Well, I don't even think we need schools to do it. I feel like we need to do it as tribal schools. If you look how glorified, let's look at our neighbors, the Black communities with their HBCUs. Look how much they thrive off that, and how their HBCUs are always promoted and have great numbers at some of them, and are really big schools. You don't see that at our tribal universities because everyone's trying to get pushed out and go to the bigger university that's look good in Western society, and these UC Davis, these UC Berkeley schools, these Harvard educations. I feel like we should promote like more tribal schools, because I went to a non-tribal school that's trying to become a tribal school, and I did not have a good time learning. All I learned is oppression and trauma. I feel like if we just continue to teach oppression and trauma and not learn how to decolonize and heal, where are we gonna step forward? So that's the biggest thing. So I feel like we should promote tribal colleges as more to step in and attend these colleges and everything, and get in these realms and everything.
Is there any tribal colleges that you want to promote and you want to know?
Northwest Indian College. I love what they did there. They made me change my degree, because I honestly fell in love with the AIS system there. One of them teachers was so deep, it even questioned if I was a colonizer. So like, it was definitely a good aspect. I love that school. I'm actually going to go back there. I will be attending there, and I'll be getting my bachelor's there next year. And
hell yeah, man.
Hopefully they have master's. They're trying to get a master's program for it, so hopefully they have it by then. But yeah, I just love the school because they teach from a Native American aspect. So much of oral teachings and everything, rather than my last school. Like, I learned about the Trail of Tears 7 times, like in one semester. Like, why do I need to learn about all this trauma when I'm trying to heal and decolonize?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, DNA gets altered through trauma.
Exactly. I was just gonna say that you already have this generational trauma. You're already carrying it. You don't have to learn about it over and over
Yes,
again.
exactly. So I want to learn how to decolonize. I want to learn how to heal. I want to learn how to step forward. And I feel like Northwest Indian College does a great job of doing that. United Tribes Technical College did a great doing that. That was one of my first colleges I attended. It was in North Dakota, Bismarck. So I was kind of around a lot of Dakota people, which is cool. So getting that, it was just a really cool aspect. And then even my mother, she teaches at IAIA. And I sit in on some of her classes. And I know how she teaches. And IAIA is even a great school and learning this stepping away from Western society teaching and having more of like a culture teaching. So it's definitely cool.
Hell yeah. Does your mom have an Instagram or anything that she sells her
Yeah,
art through or anything?
I
Yeah, plug
think
that.
she's in here. She might be in here. Mama, if you in here, say something.
Yeah,
Leah Mata Frawa, though, she makes traditional jewelry and everything. Go check her page out. And
yeah. People definitely need to buy more native art.
oh, definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah. I've
support
actually,
actual native artists too.
yeah. Oh, yeah. There's my mother. If you guys want to follow her page right there, she just said hi, son. Yes, this is my mother. Teaches me a lot. She's definitely one of my idols because of what she does traditionally, like with her traditional jewelry and putting a little modern spin on it. So it's really cool. I love her artwork and everything. So
Hell yeah, I'm gonna go give her a follow right now.
sweet, sweet, sweet.
Hell yeah, man. Thank you for coming on. That was a
Yes,
super
sweet.
good conversation, man.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me. We definitely got to do this again and everything. So
Absolutely, man. And then I'll send you this video, through your email and stuff, and then you can post it on whatever you want to do, and I'm gonna post it on YouTube and stuff too.
sweet. Maybe if we can even do one in person for the next.
Absolutely, dude. That'll be absolutely way better. Next time I'm in Santa Rosa, that I can do that.
Sweet. Sounds good. Sounds good. Well, thanks for having me again, man. This
Hey,
is
yeah. Thank you, and then thank you for everybody for joining.
yes, thanks for everyone for tuning in and hearing our conversations. I definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you. All right, see ya.
All right, man. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too. All right, thank you for everybody for joining in. I'm gonna come in, I think this next week for another episode. So I'm gonna post this on here and then on my YouTube page. So thank you guys.